Mahatma Gandhi, George Washington, Abraham Lincoln, few among some of the greatest leaders that the world has ever seen. But where are those qualities that made them great leaders that they were in their days in the leaders of today? Did the great leaders take these qualities with them to their graves and erase it from the surface of the earth? Or has the human mind become too weak, too corrupt, too impotent to lead their nations towards greatness once more?
On this broad foundation, all should be free to make the best of themselves and their country, and to rise by their own exertions in the life of a free and active society.
Leadership and rulership are two different words that are often interchanged for one another. In a world where rulers are dressed up as leaders and leaders are painted as rulers, things cannot be more dangerous than it is in the year 2022. What are the differences between rulership and leadership, you may ask? Leadership is a position of accepting and heading responsibilities. Rulership is a position of delegating and deferring responsibilities without full understanding and knowledge of a given situation and the potential consequences that one's nation might face based on the decision and solutions that one decided to take in the face of such situations. As I listen and watch the world leaders of today ignore their electorate, I cannot help but think they are rulers in leadership clothing. And the most shocking thing is the amount of confidence and pride that some rulers take in their disconnection from the reality of their voters. Some even make their disconnection from their voters publicly known without any concern of not being voted into office in the next election. A recent example of this is the speech of the German Foreign Minister Annalena Baerbock at the Forum 2000 Annual Convention of 2022.
But I would disagree on one sentence you said of saying we shouldn't talk about maybe this war should go on for a longer time. Because if I give the promise as a politician, and luckily in democracy it could be the chance that people disagree with me and they say in 4 years, well, you didn't tell us the truth. But if I give the promise to people in Ukraine, we stand with you as long as you need us, then I want to deliver. No matter what my German voters think, but I want to deliver to the people of Ukraine. And this is why for me it's important to be always very frank and clear. And this means every measure I'm taking, I have to be clear that this holds on as long as Ukraine needs me.
And some part of the United States of America President Joe Biden's Soul of the Nation speech.
We must be honest with each other and with ourselves. Too much of what's happening in our country today is not normal. Donald Trump and the MAGA Republicans represent an extremism that threatens the very foundations of our republic. Now, I want to be very clear up front. Not every Republican, not even the majority of Republicans are MAGA Republicans. Not every Republican embraces their extreme ideology. I know, because I've been able to work with these mainstream Republicans. But there's no question that the Republican Party today is dominated, driven, and intimidated by Donald Trump and the MAGA Republicans. And that is a threat to this country. These are hard things, but I'm an American president, not a president of red America or blue America, but of all America. And I believe it's my duty to level with you, to tell the truth, no matter how difficult, no matter how painful. And here, in my view, is what is true. MAGA Republicans do not respect the Constitution. They do not believe in the rule of law. They do not recognize the will of the people. They refuse to accept the results of a free election. And they're working right now, as I speak, in state after state, to give power to decide elections in America to partisans and cronies, empowering election deniers to undermine democracy itself.
Some may argue that those speeches are a result of some past actions from oppositions, and such argument will stand some ground. But when the questions of responsibility is brought up, such arguments will crumble without much resistance. Great leaders understand their people and help set a common goal for their societies during tough times to help create positive change as demanded by their people. Today's politicians are more and more like democratic dictators wrapped in a cloak of liberal democracy. The clown show of today's politics is not only a sign of the ineptitude of politicians, but also symptoms of the lack of sound political education of the public. People must elevate their minds to a state of political education and awareness that produces and demands true leaders, not just in tough times, but also in the best of times, whatever that means to the people.